Hi guys, welcome back. In today's video, we are covering everything that is coming in Season 9, based on the Season 9 Chinese test server, including new weapons like the AR-57 and Bear M82, major zero-day map changes, a high-risk vault mission, and a new competitive beacon challenge mode. On top of that, we're getting new attachments, items, inspection animations, and a brand new red item that could be tied to black site upgrades. There are also several quality of life improvements, including better team communication, ultimate cooldown indicators, and UI upgrades, along with changes coming to warfare mode. Let's start things off with the new weapons and attachments. First, we have the AR-57. Its base damage is 30 and its armor penetration is 31, which is quite decent for a weapon with a 900 RPM fire rate. It has an effective range of 35 meters, and its base recoil pattern is more horizontal. However, you can improve it with the right attachments. Overall, it will be strongest in close-range gunfights. Next, we have the Bear M82, which is a very interesting addition to the game. It deals 100 base damage with a range of 200 meters, but its base handling speed is quite low. That said, you can modify it somewhat similarly to the AWM. What's even more interesting is that you can spam fire this weapon, and it is capable of killing enemies with a single chest shot. There are 3 types of bullets available. The first 2 deal 70% damage with a 100 armor penetration. One of them causes severe injury delay, while the other applies a target hit penalty, making enemies dizzy and slowing their movement. However, neither of these can penetrate red armor with a single shot, so you'll be better off pressing the third ammo type. This one deals 100% damage and works identically to AWM bullets, making it the second tier 7 ammo type in the game. I'm not sure how annoying this weapon will become in Season 9, but it's definitely a high-risk, high-reward weapon since you cannot store any of these 3 ammo types in your safe box. Yes, you heard that right. It's a truly high-risk weapon to carry, and I think that's somewhat fair, considering how powerful it currently is. I'll discuss the warfare side stats in a separate video so we don't mix things up here. Moving on, the Desert Eagle is getting a new attachment. On top of that, it's also receiving a new inspection animation, which looks really cool. What's even more interesting is that firing the weapon while inspecting it triggers a special shot. So for players who like to flex, you'll be able to pull off some stylish plays, especially since you can also use gold bullets with it in Season 9. Next, we have a new attachment for the M250. Let's call it the Chainsaw Kit for now. You'll see why in a moment. This attachment will only be available for a limited time, and you'll have to sacrifice some other attachments if you plan to use it. However, it's going to be totally worth it, because your movement speed will be almost comparable to running with a knife, making it extremely lethal in close-range situations. Finally, we have a similar attachment for the MP7, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this one. It increases the weapon's base damage by 5, bringing it up to 37, but there's no change to its armor penetration value of 28. The catch is that it comes with a magazine size of just 15 rounds. Yes, only 15 rounds. This means you'll need to be extremely accurate with your shots, or you'll find yourself reloading every couple of seconds and getting punished for it. It can be built into a solid hipfire setup up to a decent range, but I feel like only players with exceptional aim will truly make the most out of it in real combat. Next, we're going to take a look at the changes coming to the zero-day map. This isn't a new mode or anything, they're simply adding new pathways, loot containers, and expanding the playable area on the existing map, similar to what they did with Space City 2.0. The interior of the bulb has also been updated and it now looks brighter and more spacious. On top of that, we're getting additional routes to the elevator extraction point, making it easier to push and attack teams that are trying to extract. But there are no changes to the old entrance. There are also some new developments in the riverbank area. A newly added tall grass zone has been introduced, and you'll find plenty of crows inside it. If someone is hiding there, the crows will scatter, so in my opinion, it's not the smartest place to camp. Even though you can use this to confirm if someone is hiding in the grass, it's still difficult to pinpoint their exact location because visibility is quite limited once you're inside the field. Unless, of course, you're using a Recon operator. Additionally, there's a boat in the field where you have a chance to find small red items. You'll also notice a new bird nest nearby. As you move toward the river area, you'll see some significant changes. There used to be crocodiles all around the place, but now you can find none. Instead, you can freely swim and dive in the river, and you'll find a couple of new loot containers in the area. This section has been slightly expanded as well, but you can no longer cross that side of the bridge to access the crocodile zone, as it has been completely sealed off. Finally, we have a new flagship task in Geodam that allows us to go down this manhole and access this building. Let's take a closer look. The task spawns right next to the wall breaker task and only one of them appears per match. Once you accept it, Recon will give you mission guidelines and you simply have to follow them. First, you need to drop down to the manhole and walk forward a bit until you find the ladder. After climbing up, you'll enter this building that was previously inaccessible in earlier versions of Geodam. All you have to do is interact with the wheel, and once it's opened, you'll need to jump out of the window and move toward the dam board. You'll immediately notice a clear difference in the vault door, as you can now crack it open instead of drilling to gain access. However, you only have 30 seconds to loot everything inside before the vault fills with poison gas. It's best to check the ground loot first, and then quickly move to the coin piles for more loot. You'll need your entire team to clear the area efficiently before the timer runs out, because attempting this solo isn't practical. You simply won't have enough time to loot even half the vault. That said, the initial gas isn't very strong, so you can stay inside for a bit longer, but you must constantly keep an eye on your health. There comes a point where the gas will instantly kill you, so you need to get out before that happens, as no one can revive you inside, unless you have a Cineva on your team who can pull you out. There's one more important detail. Once you unlock the vault door, the entire map gets notified, so everyone will know you're attempting the mission. On the test server, completing the task only rewards you with 425 coins, which feels underwhelming, and I hope this gets adjusted for the global release. I also feel that 30 seconds isn't enough time to properly loot the vault, so increasing it by at least 15 seconds would make it much more fair. Additionally, if you accept the task but choose not to complete it, Raven will constantly shout at you and even get angry by the end, so you might want to avoid picking it up, unless you are planning on completing it. That's pretty much it for the new task, and now let's move on to the new items and inspection features coming in Season 9. There's not much to talk about here. We're getting new inspection animations for the Military Information Terminal, gold-plated card, and archived audio source. Baby, when I took lobby up, oh, you called me to tons of not I'll be near midnight. So, now let's take a look at the new items coming in Season 9. Please note that the prices shown here are based on the current test server auction house and may differ on the global server. Come on, little closer. All the this way, dear. Everything's moving so well. What did you do? I've been looking at you all night, trying to figure you out, so I make you smile. Hold you in my head, in the times that make me looking good, yeah. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down. It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my heart call. What? Your belly cheaper. It's what you do. Make me feel like a pearl. That for me, love. Me. For me, love. 以下毛不要三bones. I'm going crazy for it. Next, we're going to discuss a new game mode coming to operations called Beacon Challenge in the Chinese test server. To access it, you need to spend 100,000 technique alloys to purchase a registration ticket, after which you can sign up. There are quite a few roles in this mode, and if you watch the Delta Force Invitational Cup, you'll probably already be familiar with how it works. Once you sign up, you'll be taken to a different interface called the Challenge Warehouse instead of the usual main screen. The currency here is Beacon Challenge coins, which are completely separate from technique alloys. You'll buy and sell items using these coins, and there's no auction house in this mode, meaning transactions aren't affected by any fees or taxes. As for the maps, the first round takes place in Geodam, followed by 3 rounds in Blackish, and the final 3 rounds in Space City. The first round does not include a Mandobik, but the remaining 6 rounds do. Since you start with only 1 million, you can choose to go in with minimal gear and build up your resources for the Mandobik rounds. Alternatively, you can go in fully geared and focus on eliminating other players, as each kill rewards you with 400,000 in addition to whatever loot they carry. In the later rounds, you'll earn additional bonus points for decoding Mando bits, and successfully decoding 6 in a row unlocks a special achievement. However, if you fail to secure a break in a round, you will lose a life, even if you manage to extract. You only have 3 lives to make it through all 7 rounds and win the challenge. You won't necessarily face the same teams across all 7 rounds, and you can only play with players who are at the same stage as you. For example, if you're in round 2, you won't be matched with someone still in round 1. After each round, you'll receive an additional 700,000, even if you fail to extract, which helps you progress further. On top of that, you'll earn kill points and victory points, with additional rewards for successfully decoding bricks. If you pick up a Mando brick and fail to place it in a decoding station within 5 minutes, it will be destroyed and respawn at its original location. Each team member must use a different operator so duplicate characters are not allowed. The match timer is set to 18 minutes, meaning you won't have much time to loot. You can earn challenge coins by completing in-game tasks, and all keycard doors can be opened using a single master keycard that costs just 1 coin. It has 100 uses and the drop rate is quite high in this mode, making it very convenient. Looting is also more rewarding, as you'll frequently come across high-tier red items. Additionally, the mode includes airdrops where you may find AWM ammo, allowing you to one-shot enemies. Because crafting red gear is not possible in this mode, you're limited to using gold or lower tier gear, which makes the red ammo incredibly powerful in this mode. If you've been paying close attention, it should be clear that this mode is designed to be highly competitive, and many pro players are likely going to enjoy it. It's clearly built to promote competitive gameplay, but at the same time, it's accessible enough for anyone to try, since the entry cost is relatively low. At the moment, there are no confirmed rewards for winning the entire challenge, but we can expect something worthwhile in the global release. Completing all 7 matches will take around 3 hours, and you don't have to finish them in one sitting. This mode can help fill the gap left by the lack of a new operations map in Season 9. However, for the casual player base, there are still concerns. The CE mode is currently affecting the balance of Zero Dam, and many casual players are not comfortable playing on other maps. It remains to be seen how the developers will address this in Season 9. We should get more clarity on April 11th during the Season 9 developer livestream. Now let's move on to the upcoming quality of life updates. Before that, there's one more thing worth mentioning. We're getting a new achievement next season that requires you to extract either 2 Hearts of Africa, 2 Tears of the Ocean, or 2 identical red items that take up 9 or more slots, all within the same match. On top of that, it must be done in normal or hard mode. Honestly, this feels more like a trap than a proper achievement, so I wouldn't recommend actively going for it unless you get extremely lucky and happen to find something like 2 rocket shields, or 2 identical high slot red items in a single run. We also have a look at the Season 9 ranked badges, and it seems like the main theme is once again centered around Zero Dam, and there's a ship featured in a Marshal badge, which represents the new warfare map. Finally, we have some good news regarding the new prone mechanic preventing your leg from exposing to the other side of the wall. It has been reintroduced to the test server after the developers addressed the issues it had during the previous test phase, so there's a strong chance we'll be able to experience it properly on the official Season 9 release. Next, we're getting some new customization features, starting with the command wheel. This allows you to communicate with your team more effectively, letting you request specific abilities exactly where you want them. You can choose between a 4-command or 8-command layout, and you can even make the wheel semi-transparent so you can see through it while using it. And here comes my favorite feature. You'll now see a small circle around each operator's portrait that gradually fills up, indicating their ultimate cooldown. If it shows as a dot, that means your teammate's ultimate is fully charged. This means you no longer have to ask things like how long until the detection arrow or hot cross scan is ready, since everyone can see it directly on the screen, which is really cool. There's also a new setting that automatically closes your backpack if you start running when your backpack is open. It's not a major change, but it's definitely a nice quality of life improvement. Now, here's something bigger. Previously, once you died, you couldn't see exactly what your teammates were doing, especially when it came to what they were looting inside containers. After this update, you'll not only be able to see what they pick up, you can also mark items for them. I'm not entirely sure how useful this will be yet, but it's limited to friends, so random teammates won't be able to spam you with pings. And if you don't like it, you can simply turn the feature off in the settings. On top of that, you can now adjust your teammates' volume by pressing Alt+P, which opens a dedicated interface for it. You'll also be able to use gunsmith codes directly from the chat with a single click, making it much more convenient. Finally, skills with delayed triggers will now be highlighted, which could actually be a solid improvement. If the icon shows a cross at the bottom, it means the skill isn't in your line of sight, which can be very useful in certain situations. Overall, we'll have to see how much these changes improve the experience once we get our hands on the official Season 9 server. And finally, we have a new red item called the Rangefinder, valued at 1.5 million, which can only be found in black cash. As you already know, both rocket fuel and the buoyancy control device are worth the same. So this raises the question, Could this be something required for a black site upgrade? It's a 2x4 item, meaning you can't store it in your chest to go safe box, which further suggests that it might be tied to black site progression. On the test server, there was also a new black site feature called the weapon rack, and this new red item could potentially be required for that, although we don't have any confirmed information yet. Now let's briefly take a look at the warfare side. I'll be covering this in much more detail in a separate video, but here's a quick overview. We know that a new map is coming, although the official name for the global version hasn't been announced yet. It's somewhat similar to Cyclone, featuring combat across land, air, and sea, including fighter jets and helicopters. The map itself looks very bright, and the ocean visuals are absolutely stunning, so I'm personally excited to try it out, even though I don't play much Warfare. There aren't any new vehicles this season, but we can expect several minor improvements that should enhance the overall gameplay experience. Since the test server doesn't include any new cosmetic content, we still don't know what will be featured in the Battle Pass. However, many players are expecting a type of skin in the Battle Pass or a separate Ultimate skin for her, so we'll have to wait and see what the developers have prepared for Season 9. We should get more details during the developer live stream on April 11th. And that wraps up today's video, but we still have test server balance changes to go through, which I'll be covering in a separate video tomorrow. Until then, take care and happy gaming.